Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Ink-Spilled Glimmers. Our top story tonight... wait. It's not the topic for tonight. Give me another one. Still not the topic. Give me one more. Nope, still not it. One more. Oh, there we are! Sapphire Steel. The deck with all the answers, as long as you don't mind taking 20 minutes to find them. This is exactly what happens when Elon Musk and Scrooge McDuck are left alone to design a Lorcana deck. It does nothing but accumulate resources and look down on the proletariat, and then use its vast amount of wealth to buy and win and claim that it was all thanks to its genius strategy. Finding its footing in set 3, but solidifying itself as a solid meta contender in set 4 with the addition of Fortisphere, Sapphire Steel is one of the most versatile decks existing at the moment, as well as potentially the one with the highest skill ceiling. It seeks to rapidly rent up and play a lot of removal and card draw until it's in the position to swiftly end the game in a turn or two, thanks to its huge finisher. Since this deck is taking more and more space, and can lead to some pretty lengthy games, the coverage for it has been split into two parts. Tonight, we'll be taking a look at the aggro and midrange matchup. And next week, we'll see the control matchup. Now let's go take a look at the breakdown. One of the actual strengths of the deck is the many different paths that can be taken when building it. You can have more ramp, you can have more item payoffs, you can put in more removal. You can really tailor it to your playstyle and the field you're preparing against. The version we'll be showcasing today is taking a page out of the Steel Song Player's Handbook and leaning heavily on those entrancing melodies. That means relying on a whole new well to refill your hand and dig a little deeper. Not the song, anyways. Of course, but also 3 copies of Grab Your Sword to deal with those pesky Bucky decks that are still running loose for a few weeks. Rest in peace. One notable addition that doesn't see as much play in set 4 is Let It Go, a song that allows you to remove chosen character by sending it to its owner's inkwell. This works around bad characters with banish abilities like Mufasa or Prince Eric, and can remove larger targets that Steel usually find a little more troublesome. In addition to that, the big payoff of the deck for playing more song is Ariel, Sonic Warrior. A personal favorite of the crew here, this 6-cost inkable character is a 3-hate that quests for 2 and has amplified voice. Whenever you play a song, you may pay 2 ink to deal 3 damage to chosen character. This ability enables a lot more board control and is the main reason for going heavy into the songs. Also of note is the inclusion of Cinderella Stout-Hearted as a sticky character that is a good time target, and of Simba Fighting Prince, who can apply a similar effect to a Tinkerbell Giant Fairy, while also offering some card selection when needed. That's the tech, that's the deck. Now let's join Atlanta top 8 finisher Alexandru for the games and commentary. Welcome back to the studio, Alexandru.
Always a pleasure to be here.
So today we're switching it up to a bit more of a control deck.
We're going with one of my personal favorites from back in the day, from back in set 1. The thing I used to play a whole lot, Blue Steel. So, Sapphire Steel.
The deck with all the answers.
All the answers, a lot of action, a lot of nothing also.
Yeah, that's kind of why I usually avoid playing the deck, because there's a little bit too much nothing for me in it.
Yeah, I think there's a bit too much nothing for me as well for this game. In other games, I love this style of play. Lorcana being a lot slower, a lot grindier, I think it's harder to justify doing all of this nothing, just spinning the wheels back and forth until you find something and you establish an engine.
But then again, the results speak for themselves. The deck wins a lot.
For sure, it's one of the big 4 of this set 4 metagame of Ursula's Return. You see a whole lot of them in your store championships, in your local events, local leagues. You saw a lot of it in the last DLCs. So for sure, we're gonna see more of it in the coming weeks.
Yeah. So let's jump into the gameplay and see how it fares in the gauntlet. So this first matchup here against my personal deck for the first Ursula's Return set champ, Emerald Amethyst.
Emerald Amethyst. I would say this is the up and comer. Let's say it's the up and coming deck. It's the aggro option of the format right now. It's for sure the most aggressive deck of the format.
It's the most aggressive deck, yeah.
I personally played a bit of it also. I would say it doesn't quite fit my style. It's a bit too aggressive. I'm not an aggressive-minded player by any means in any game, but it's fairly strong.
And we see it with the Curse Merfolk start right there.
These starts can be very backbreaking for slower decks like Ruby, Sapphire, and Sapphire Steel. These merfolks are just a beating.
Yeah, and the regular start for Sapphire, a popsicle.
Like I said, a lot of nothing, just air and just spinning the wheels.
Yeah, and there we see Emerald Amethyst just being super aggressive with a second merfolk and the Pegasus.
This is probably the start you fear the most when you're in the control seat. Right now, the control player deciding to put some bodies on the ground. Generally, with these new style of Sapphire decks, the best start you can have, fathomably, would be turn 1 Popsicle or Fortisphere if you're in Steel, and then you can find a 1 jump ahead to accelerate on turn 2, and then again having a 4-drop play like Grabathala, How Far I'll Go, Flaversham. Here we see a shifted Pegasus.
Yeah, shifted Pegasus going all the way up to 8 already. This is like
3.
This is the aggro side of the deck for sure.
Oh, and now the Mr. Smee will have to ram into one of the...
Which you can't because they're evasive this turn.
For sure, I forgot the trigger. Just forgot a trigger. Because now you have to get something rolling, and it's so hard because the aggressive deck will quest again for 6.
And we'll shift onto the shifted Pegasus for another turn of immunity.
This is
going all the way to 14.
This is just game right there, right?
It pretty much is. That's
Like,
the thing you don't want to see
like
as a Sapphire player.
probably you're trying to find a baboom or something for one of the merfolks to stay alive, but still that Pegasus is evasive.
And we see that the game is just over in 4 turns. That's always the challenge, right? When you're playing a control deck, it can go under. It can you can get out aggroed basically.
I thought this was a showcase for Sapphire Steel, not for the aggro deck.
Hey, I mean, you gotta show the band matchups too.
For sure, for sure.
Here we have the completely off meta deck of Ember Sapphire.
So you wanted to try something that you like to call sugar, spice, and everything nice?
Yeah, exactly. Sugar and spice and everything nice. But more specifically, this one was a hero-focused aggro deck that, wanted to see how it fared. So,
Just remembering the games, it's quite interesting. Wow, the whole place of the fort is here. Okay, we're gonna be cantripping a lot. Just hopefully we're doing something against...
I mean, Hiram is there. You're...
Yeah, we're gonna draw a lot, but let's hope that it's
But can
enough.
you get there?
Yeah, because you said it's a hero deck. If I remember correctly, it's quite aggro.
It is. The goal was to go under those, bigger, slower decks of Sapphire when...
Which is surprising off a blue deck that wants to... Generally, the color wants to be slow, to draw cards, to do stuff.
One of the really underused part of this color identity that was more used in set 1 is that they often have characters that quest a lot for their relative cost compared to others. Similar to what Emerald does as well.
Fair. I can get behind that.
So here, Fortisphere on turn 1. And here we have the small Anna from set 4, who says that if there's another hero on the board, she quests for 2 instead of 1.
Which is quite aggressive for this small buddy. It's a 1/4. It's quite survivable.
Exactly. Here, 40 sphere into Smee, because
I think we're respecting here the board and that we want to be able to challenge.
yeah, because obviously you don't want to let the aggro deck go unchecked for 2, 3, 4 turns.
Yeah, probably the line here afterwards will be what? The quilling the whole new world, that you don't want to let the aggro player just refill their whole hand. Because now, like we already have 4 characters on board.
4 characters, 4 lore, a single Smee holding the 4th. You basically want to get to 5 and grab your sword as fast as possible.
Exactly. So I think this is why you have to start running towards to start the ink race.
And we see here the fishbone coming out, putting I think it was a whole new world that was put down here.
I think
sure.
it was Bell, actually.
Oh, Bell, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we're still holding on to the whole new world for reasons. Maybe trying
Here
to...
the 40 sphere. Drawing an aerial Sonic Warrior that can prevent those more aggro matchups from getting back up once they're...
Interestingly enough, not doing anything with this Smee. I would have probably challenged a bit, because now that Anna looks very scary.
Yeah, that big Anna, when she quests, able to give everyone else +1 lore. Here we see like the small Anna showcasing her for toughness by not being afraid to quest, because Smee can't defeat her on his own.
Yeah. Here we'll probably have to go for the Flaversham. Probably also challenge that Kida.
Just to remove the character.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a trade, which feels quite bad. So we're activating the Quill.
To put...
Probably.
And now the whole new world's going.
Yeah, we're just keeping it for...
Because at that point you really don't want to let your opponent
So
go.
we're trying to establish the aerial. Oh, which is quite smart, because now you have the how far I'll go, so it's able to deal with most of the board. If you go like hard cast how far I'll go, pitch 3 damage on something, remove something.
But then again, both Annas are still for toughness, so...
Yeah, this is quite bothersome.
Here we see that Anna questing and activating everyone else. Making that Lilo quest for 3, that Wendy quest for 3, and that small Anna quest for 3.
That's 18.
That is like...
Very quick.
That's the fast line. Definitely showcasing how Sapphire Steel, for as fast as it ramps...
Wish to have musical cues with that song from the Eagles. Life in the fast lane.
And there, Judy Ops putting Lethal on board.
Making us
forcing to like completely clear the board with a lot of toughness, which
I think
gonna have a hard time.
I think here it's just like game over, right? Like
I don't know what the deck has that could
you don't
take that out.
You don't have anything. What you could probably whole new world activate the here it's a concession. I think. I think you see me just trying to say like I would have needed that and that and that to like a lot of resources
to do anything.
Yeah, there was no good line to be able to come back from this one.
Yeah, no.
So for sure this might have been a bad matchup when the deck has a very aggressive start, when it's just able to establish those early questers and boom, have the Anna that just adds a dimension of inevitability.
Yeah, and we see like the decks from the people who play a lot of aggro matchups against them. We see them integrating some baboons or fire the cannons to address those early threats. So not only like the Diablos, but really those merfolks, those well, in this case, like Lilo or Maleficent, that's coming, that's becoming more popular with the purple steel deck. Just being able to take it under control while they do the build up, and then
Exactly, because I think this is how people are trying to attack the metagame right now, because this metagame has been quite slow and grindy. The fastest deck was probably what, Emerald Steel.
yeah, I guess before
this,
Emerald Sapphire came in Chicago, yeah.
yeah, so you were playing a matchup of like attrition, so it was not actually fast. It was just like bursting in the mid to late game, and they're winning.
Yep.
So I think that's how people are trying to approach those slower matchups, just being like, oh, we're gonna play aggro decks.
If you're going to take it slow, we're gonna aggro it. That's the answer.
When everybody's going slow, you gotta go fast.
James? Alright, so here we see the rematch against Amber Sapphire, which will showcase, first of all, when Sapphire starts, and also when you get to be prepared for the matchup and not taken off guards, because some of these off-meta decks, they rely on the element of surprise to be able to steal wins left and right.
You said to be prepared, but the steel deck is
wrong
not...
color, right? When you get to grab your sword against these matches.
Yeah, exactly. You have your swords ready and just grab him. Sorry, I love those kind of puns.
So, we saw in the last match what happens when the aggro player starts first. Let's see if, on the play, they can pull the same shenanigans, or if Steel will be a little bit more prepared.
We see here quite a nice curve also on the control side. You have your 1-drop for the sphere, you have your 2-drop Smee, and probably your Fishbone Quill to accelerate a bit. You have Hiram, like everything is going quite well, let's say.
Here we see Smee into Smee. So curious to see what the aggro player will do here. Inking an Aurora that we haven't seen since set 1 to put out a Bodyguard Simba. Another one that we haven't seen in a while.
This is interesting. I've been also like cooking with aggro decks. I was cooking with Amethyst rather than Sapphire, and those bodyguards are really a big component of the aggro matchups. You want to have things that just shield your really fast questing creatures.
Yeah. So here we can see already 4 inks, the Flaversham on the ready, the Cogsworth on the ready, which is definitely something you want to see in those matchups.
And here we see trying to race with this Smee, which is quite interesting.
Well, just questing, but also, like, you know he's going to die ramming into something, so...
Yeah, you just want the most value out of it. And we see here Judy Hops, which was quite brutal for to stop that Fishbone Quill that should have taken the whole new world from the hand. Here we're probably gonna go with the popsicle and just
drawing a little deeper.
I think here we're just digging for options.
Here, inking the Cogsworth, taking out Hiram, digging a little more.
That good old song and dance.
I mean, the Tamato is out, the Ariel's out as well. If the deck can make it to these really crucial turns, I don't think the aggro deck is taking out Tamato anytime soon.
For sure. I think it's quite a bit of inevitability with your 8 willpower creatures that will be able to take over the game.
That's why they're trying to go under it with the aggressive, but if they can't do it, they're going to be in
Ooh.
trouble. Here we see Legendary Sisu from set 2.
Always loved that card. I was like, that is develop your brain on the stick, like repeatable.
Repeatable, develop your brain.
So here, I think it's quite interesting the shape of the hand where you have a quill. We decided to ink it though. I thought it was interesting to probably try to establish the quill to ramp up to that Tamatoa. But here
But you also already have the one jump. And, oh no, Ariel just coming out.
I think the aerial is gonna do a lot of work here. We have a let it go, in hand we have a one jump. This is where I think the aerial shines the most, when you can be able to just sing the one jump ahead with anything, and just start throwing 3 damage. It's like it's only 4 ink, or 2 if you decide to sing the one jump ahead.
Yeah.
So
It's a cheaper smash that is also repeatable. So here we see the Big Anna coming out.
So here it starts to get dangerous on board. The aggro deck on 10 lore. They have a value engine. They have some pressure. They have a bodyguard.
And here the Grab Your Sword comes out.
That grab your sword is gonna be massive, I think.
That should cut the leg off of most aggro decks.
The
Dead
line
in their tracks.
the line could be just sing it with aerial, activate it, take down something that has 4 willpower, play the one jump ahead, probably take out something else.
I mean, that card on its own drove almost all 2 willpower and less creatures out of the format, like in earlier days. Now we see it a little bit less than before.
It's 5. It costs 5. It's uninkable, which sometimes is suboptimal. We see here the line I was talking about, like singing both the songs, ramping, taking out big characters, and we even give some food to the Hiram.
For next turn,
Yeah.
gotta keep him fed.
Yep. He's always ready for those sweet popsicles. So now I think the aggro deck is in not that great of a position. We're showcasing the power of Ariel, as I was speaking in other games, that she is quite a beating when you can establish some advantage with many songs.
Yeah, and we see the aggro player still able to like keep some pressure up,
Yeah, we're still pressing.
forcing the steel player to
Pressing
deal.
the adventure.
Yeah.
So here we still have some songs in hand, which is very nice. We see the whole new world that probably is able to deal with one of the characters on the other side. Maybe if we find another song for Flaversham, if we decide to go this route, we can also just quest with the Flaversham and give options. That's something I want to address with those decks. People really have to just quest with their Flavershams and give themselves options. It should be, and we decide to challenge here, but that's probably even
As you were saying, challenge with the Flaversham and take out that Simba. That's exactly what the advice is.
what I like with that is like you give yourself options. You'll have a lot of information. Here we're deciding to. Oh, I see what we're doing here. We want to establish a Tamatoa to be able to take back the popsicle. We didn't want to quest with it because we wanted to use it on the aerial. And we find
in another song, so that Ariel is going to be decimating for a few more turns already.
Yeah.
That should spell the end for the aggro matchup,
Yeah, well,
unless they can magically summon like
I don't-
7 lore here. Well, they already have 3 on board, so an extra 4 lore is what they really need.
Yeah. That
That's
Anna's
definitely a
like,
character that should be able to do it on her own if she can live long enough to.
yeah, because here we can just like use a Let It Go on Diana, take out the Winnie Darling, not care much about the Hades.
Yeah, or Zeus.
Zeus too.
But sometimes you have to make your opponent have it. The aggro player put it to force the control player into having the answer.
And another Zeus.
Yeah, that's the problem though with the blue control players. They usually have it because they see so many cards.
Yeah, because here what we can do also, we're just establishing a ginormous engine with like a Tamatoa. We're taking the popsicle, activating the quill, replaying the popsicle. You just have so much going on.
And now every turn that popsicle is gonna come down. Hiram's gonna be able to eat it. Tamatoa bring it back. Like that's gonna be 3 cards a turn from that one drop.
3 cards is nothing to scoff at in any game.
Especially not in this one.
Yeah, that lone Hades looks kind of sad here right now. We see another Sisu.
But a lot of 4 tough desk characters though in that specific deck that should be able in under normal circumstances to withstand aerial, smash, grab your sword.
I think we've seen a downtick in Smash. To be fair, people really wanna put an emphasis on Baboom and things that deal 2 damage instead of 3 because of Diablo.
Yeah,
Diablo is surely the threat. And we
it's
see another
the game,
song.
but yeah, like
We see another
at that
song.
point it's just over.
So Zeus, the nice Zeus, taking out the Hades, and
Yep, and we see here
it spells the end.
the resignation.
Yeah, no, at this point it was just inevitable. That's what the control deck wants to do, and I said earlier that it does a lot of nothing until it does something, but it's quite nice to see it going faster. That's what all this ramp is for, because you can establish a big 6 drop on turn 4. You can start taking actions on turn 5 and 6. We have massive amounts of ink, and you can generate advantage. You can generate a lot of removal. It can do a lot. It like I'm gonna say it again. It does nothing until it does everything.
Yeah, and here, like again, we could see the 3 cards a turn from the Popsicle, Hiram, and Tamatoa. Tamatoa questing for 2, 3, or more per turn. Ariel doing all that damage and still questing for 2. Like that board was moving.
Oh yeah, when you have that much resource, you don't even have to be singing with the Ariel, which is a very fine singer. It's a 6 drop. Like it sings pretty much everything safe from Be Prepared. So yeah, at this point, you just start hard casting your songs and kicking them with the Ariel. It's just nothing will stand in the way.
Here we have the feature matchup of the aggro mid-range challengers for Sapphire Steel, which is Emerald Steel, the infamous Bucky deck.
So yeah, this is probably the let's say the matchup you'll see, the kind of I don't even want to say David against Goliath. It's really just like the match of the Titans.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be huge. I think
The deck that wants to draw all their cards versus the deck that wants to remove all the cards.
Exactly. So who's gonna do it better? Both the decks are really well equipped to deal with what the other is doing. We'll just see how it lines up.
Yeah. And this is a matchup that oftentimes will come down to A, skill, and B, whether or not how many Buckies they can line up in the first 2-3 turns.
Yeah, because here, if I remember the deck list correctly, there is no cute way to deal with Bucky, and when I mean cute way is like there's no avalanche, there's no...
I'm pretty sure the only real solution to Bucky is grab your sword.
And Tinkerbell, right?
I'm not even sure things in the deck. We haven't seen her.
I'm pretty sure
She is? Okay.
there are some Tinkerbells in the deck. She's very big for it. I didn't think they were just swapped for Ariels. But yes, it's.
'Cause, yeah, Tinkerbell is usually the other answer you'll find there.
I think it's something you have to play nowadays in Steel decks to be able to deal with Bucky, either in Emerald Steel to be able to deal with the mirror, or in the other case in Sapphire Steel.
Yeah.
And which again is nice. I'm gonna still talk about how soon these cards can come to on the table. If you have a lot of ramp, your Tinkerbell is coming out on turn 4.
Mm-hmm. And here we see the Emerald player choosing maybe instead of a Bucky, but deciding to go with the Ursula to go see what's in the hand, what are the risks.
Well, they've seen it with the Diablo, so now
True.
So now they're like, oh, I'm scared of that grab your sword, which was
and of course the first thing you do is draw another grab your sword, and there's a Tinkerbell.
We see it here. So right now the good thing is just putting that one jump ahead in the inkwell of the how far I'll go.
Yeah.
And probably the play next turn will be to just ink something. I would put my hand on the quill probably.
Probably.
But here we see something really nice coming down for the Emerald Steel player, which is one of the big techs of this current format, which is the Hidden Cove.
Yeah, the Hidden Cove, giving an extra willpower and strength to all characters that are on it, protecting that Diablo from a grab your sword, for example.
Exactly. So now we'll have to do it as a 1-2 punch with the Tinkerbell into grab your sword to be able to deal with them. Hopefully that Tinkerbell can stick around and sing it. Probably will be able to do something else afterwards. If not, we're just gonna have to hard cast that
grab your sword.
Grab your sword to deal with that board, which would offset the Emerald Steel player quite a bit.
And here the Aladdin coming down, able to take off any item that might be useful for a Hiram in setting up.
This is more nice technology again for the Emerald Steel deck. I think the Aladdins and the Hidden Coves are quite ingenious to play against the metagame right now, because items and Hiram Flowersham are so predominant.
Yeah.
So here, probably since we've seen that Aladdin, the Hiram might not come out this turn. I would probably establish that Cinderella with the one jump ahead that can challenge anything next turn. And this is exactly what we're doing with the nice Cinderella again.
So definitely some challenge here for the Emerald Steel player to overcome.
Yeah.
Because now there's no point in them doing that, but they find another Diablo to put back on the cove. So and that one cannot be challenged by the Cinderella. So
indeed. So I think what we want to be doing here, the Aladdin just rams into the Tinkerbell. So probably we're just gonna try and take out the Ursula to stem a bit of the bleeding. And just hope that this Diablo doesn't run away with the game.
You're keeping the board clean. Very good etiquette.
Yep. Okay, so now we're just gonna make sure that turn after turn that that Cinderella can challenge ready characters. I don't think we really want to be playing those one jump aheads just right away.
Ramping.
Yeah, right now we're we're so ahead on the inkwell that
Here, removing one of the one jumps
what do we see?
with Ursula.
Yep.
Oh, actually, the other one.
Oh, we take the foil one. We take the foil one. I see here.
Yeah. I mean, the
Okay.
foil one is more potent, obviously.
Yeah, it ramps for 2, right?
Yeah.
So-
Diablo here doing a lot of Storm Rage Hunt for no damage, just for the card draw
Yep.
and for exerting Diablo.
it's a very expensive popsicle, a very expensive cantrip.
Yeah. Well, then again, it was sung, so it's
It's
basically a free cantrip, but
when I say expensive is that you have to exert your
your Diablo
character.
Yeah, which
Okay. So now we're going for the Cinderella challenging, and we see here a very
Ooh, with a
very
cogsword.
good Cinderella that is resist +3 with the cogsword. It's gonna be very hard to deal with it. We also have a popsicle that can just like heal
Heal.
up.
and here we see. Oh, we don't talk about Bruno. That takes care of Cinderella with an empty hand.
That was a big play.
And here, questing for 1, getting that Diablo tap. We can see here the job Diablo can do
Yeah.
against these types of matchup. Just drawing at the same time, getting the hand fuller than the Sapphire player.
Yeah. That's the strength of the Diablo, I'd say. So
How
here,
far go?
so here we're deciding to sing it to have more options. I like it a lot because here we see it pay off right away. We see a Tinkerbell and an Aerial that both can do a lot in this situation. We're electing to go for the Tinkerbell. I think it's a good choice in that matchup specifically. I know that I personally am running Tinkerbells in my Emerald Steel deck to be able to deal with the mirror.
Yeah. Definitely a character that's doing a lot of work here. And they're putting down and shifting
Yeah.
the Robin Hood and bringing him onto the cove, making him a
4/7,
4/7.
which is chunky.
Yeah. And then
Booming on
booming the
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell for 1.
Yeah. So here we're seeing the slow and steady Diablo that has gained a lot of advantage over the course of the game. I think here we want to take out the cove. Probably when right now it's probably don't want to play that Flaversham right away into Diablo, maybe trying to hold on to it. Yes.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to find here is probably a second Tinkerbell or a damage spell that will be able to take out the Diablo and then start drawing off the Flaversham.
Here we see the Emerald player inking a Sad Beast to play another Robin and to Strength or Raging Fire that Tinkerbell before finishing her off. Oh no, sorry, putting her to 4.
Yeah, that Cogsworth is very very good. So we're just backtracking a bit.
Yep.
So that Robin Hood is not gonna ram into the Tinkerbell. So we find here a bell. Which,
It's an interesting proposition in this specific case, but here I'm going to go dig first.
yeah, I think we decide that we have to be doing something here.
Finding a Popsicle and a Grammatal, so more draw spells, basically.
Yep. So here any one of the 4 drops is fine enough in my opinion. We're electing to go for Bell, which
Which at 9 inks really is close to be fully active.
actually we have the Inkables in hand.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just elect on next turn to bring her to 10 and start racing, because the Emerald Steel deck hasn't been running very fast as of yet.
Not as fast as it can go, that's for sure.
Yeah, but two Robin Hoods can really offset that. That's all I have to say.
They can change
Okay.
the shape of the game, that's for sure. Bucky coming down, so definitely going to see some more discarding coming up.
This is a very late Bucky, we have to say.
You don't want to see him that late when you're playing Emerald Steel, that's for sure.
Well, that's the thing. It can still be relevant to establish a board once you're sure that your opponent doesn't have some mass removal for your big board. We're seeing here a second cove that will be able to nicely protect all of the characters on board and offset that Cogsworth also.
Yeah, and the Flynn Rider coming down, discarding the Grammatala and putting the Diablo safely away from a 1 damage Tinkerbell.
Yep. So here we want to find a grab your sword, I think, to be able to deal with that Diablo that drew so many cards.
Let's make that one more.
Okay, so here we found an aerial, which is a nice way to deal damage to that Diablo. Maybe we want to take down that cove as well. We have a lot of power on board.
Yeah, that would be putting them in the front of a Robin Hood, though. So definitely some risk-reward discussions to be had here. Although with 5, you could just let it go. Stop being so stressed.
I think the line here would probably be to either go for the aerial and try to set up. Well, actually, not even. You can sing it with one of the characters that's already on the board.
Tinkerbell, Cogsworth, Bell, they're all able to sing. Not Bell. Tinkerbell and Cogsworth are able to sing Let It Go.
Yeah, I think here what we want to be doing is probably taking care of both the evasive creatures as soon as possible. So the
And in order to do that, I think we're gonna see Ariel. Yeah.
We have to bring her out. Then we're gonna let it go with the think. Yeah.
So it's gonna be like Let It Go on the Flynn, I guess, and then activating on the Diablo. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the most sensible decision here.
Yeah. What is hard now is that the Emerald Steel player can just put characters on the cove and just offset completely that Cogsworth.
Yeah.
And we have a few exerted characters that will be good food for the Robins.
Yep, that Tinkerbell doesn't have long to live.
Yeah.
Although with Ariel on board, I don't think she needs to have that long.
No, the Ariel was the relay for that Tinkerbell. She did her job. She dealt with some things early on now.
Second Bucky coming down.
Yeah, well, that's on an empty hand though, so I think
Yeah.
it's just presence on the board.
Presence on the board, and also like reminding the Sapphire player not to draw too many cards per turn, as they might not be there for long.
Yep. At least now that that darn Diablo is not there anymore, we can try and establish some kind of way of drawing cards.
Well, the small one's back.
Yeah. Not as dangerous. Okay, so that's why we're building up to. We were trying to take out the Bell. Which is
2, 4,
quite
6,
fair.
yeah, which wasn't enough for the Ariel, but still, like, able to remove the threat of 5 questing power. We've seen another Bell already go into the Inkwell.
We're questing with the second Robin.
Yeah, bringing up to 10, like, basically turning it into a bit of a race now that the Steel player has no cards in hand, and forcing him to find an answer.
Yeah. So here we find a Tinkerbell, a very timely Tinkerbell, I have to say. It will be able to deal with those Buckies that
The
are
Buckies and the Diablo, as well as the Robin, I think.
probably. Let's see how we do it.
So yeah, that's gonna be
Yeah, we're just setting it up for.
for the Tinkerbell to swipe
Yep.
everything.
That was a big. Board solving. So, and we see here that the remaining characters are not that much of a threat now.
Not nearly as dangerous, that's for sure. Although now that Cogsworth is exerted,
we can take him out.
but he's done plenty of work as well.
Yeah. Almost as much as Diablo. We're playing
here-
Stat Beast.
Yep. Putting the Beast and the Aladdin and the Diablo, everyone on the castle.
So, yeah. So here we make sure that the Cogsworth is not gonna do much more. Especially now that we can take him out.
And making sure that no character is exerted for Tinkerbell to do her job. Although in this case now we see the Aladdin being sent, which will prevent the Beast from drawing an extra card next turn, but will also make it a pretty big Beast.
Yep.
And here, Sneeze coming out. Don't think there's much point in inking it at that point. It's a
Yeah, no,
matter of-
you wanna get aggressive at this point. You wanna press the advantage.
Yep.
Also, it is a nice way to threaten locations. So you can ram that Smee into the cove and make sure that another beast.
And now with that giant beast, I'm guessing Tinkerbell is probably going to go down.
Yeah. What we want to be seeing from the Sapphire Steel side is probably a song to be able to cleanly take out the beast, probably, or at least just pitch some damage with Ariel.
Oh, we see the questing, which, to be fair, makes sense because
We want to be racing. We want to be
you want to be racing forces that Tinkerbell or that Ariel to go in because Smee is not on his own enough to get rid of that beast.
Yeah.
And in that time, they're not challenging the Cove, so
Exactly.
putting the onus on the Steel player to do the removal themselves instead of. And here playing the Quill.
What we're deciding to play the Quill instead of inking it. I think it's quite wise because you can find sometimes cards that you don't want to. That was gonna cost though.
Yeah.
That Ariel finally down. Now we're up to 14 for the Emerald Steel.
And of course,
Another
what's
one.
this game if not finding exactly the right answer from the top every single time?
That is called professional power.
Oh, yes, yes. I've heard of them.
16
16 almost lethal on board, although obviously Ariel is able to
Oh,
take care of that beast.
again, excellent top decks.
Yeah, that's no popsicle.
Yep. So let's
Here.
find something.
Oh, the big
Ooh.
Simba.
Oof. Everything's setting up nicely now.
That's going to put that game into overdrive.
Yep. So now
Letting the opponent go to 19.
At least there's no goats or any extra questing that's gonna occur in Emerald and Steel.
I don't think there is, right?
No, I think it's something that's very blue, or
Well, there's the bodyguard Donald that can also do that, and the Huns in. Well, it's in blue too.
it's in blue. It's mostly blue. But now we have two Ursulas. It's kind of irrelevant because the game is up to its final stretch. And here we see something very interesting. We have now a lot of tools set up. I remember this situation for having played it. So we have the Zeus that can deal 5 to something. We have the Simba that can deal 2. We have the Ariel that can deal 3 to one thing. There's a Tamatoa that can also ram into something. So there's a lot of moving pieces, and we'll try to re-figure out what happened here. So I think now we're
And with the Cove providing that extra willpower, like, it's really doing a lot of work. So that beast able to survive the aerial attack. Here, the aerial bumping into...
Yeah, so now I think what we need to be doing... The Tamatoa has to just bump into the last remaining character. And now here's to probably wishing that Simba will be enough for the...
Yeah, because here, for example, a big Robin is probably something we don't want to see from the...
very hard to deal with.
Sapphire Steel.
We see another
Ursula. So that's another 4 with the Cove. So the Emerald player just putting lethal on board every turn. Yeah. Forcing the Steel player to find answers, basically.
Okay, so now I think that Tamatoa will have to quest to find something to answer. So we return a popsicle to hand. We're playing another one. And we find whole new world, which is quite dangerous, I would say.
It is a risk. Well, sure, allowing the aerial to damage the Ursula, like that's a damage spell right there.
Yeah, but we have to find something else afterwards. So
Simba doing 2.
We're gonna sing. We're gonna sing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna sing it with the aerial and try and find a way to advance this game, probably of the Tamatoa. It's the only way I can see it going down.
Here, whole new world, song by Ariel, doing 3 damage to that Ursula.
So here we are drawing the 7.
We see the Lucky Dime come up.
We find another Tamatoa as well.
2 other Tamatoas.
2 other Tamatoas. We also see that extra 40 sphere. So at least here we have a lot of options with this new hand. Probably the Emerald Seal player will establish a board large enough for us not to be able to deal with. But we have the Lucky Dime. I think there's a universe where we're able to find enough items to make that Tamatoa lethal.
Yeah, and here we see like the small Flins, the Bucky, basically the Emerald player committing as wide as possible,
unloading everything, giving their all,
and telling the Sapphire player like, all right, you answer, and putting like very wise on putting the Flins on the Cove, because that 4 willpower is something you wanna have against that aerial.
Yeah, you cannot deal with those with aerial, even with those 2 songs. It's not damage based songs. So here,
a second Lucky Dime.
Second Lucky Dime, interesting. So here, but here it's quite decisively like you have to win this turn.
Yeah,
just making you have it.
There's no prolongating the game at this point.
No, it's the last turn. We know it's the last turn. So probably the Lucky Dime is one of the biggest players here. So we're running first with both the characters.
Yep, going to 7.
And the Tamatoa is questing for 5 right now. 6 of the Lucky Dime.
7 of the Lucky Dime. Yeah.
6. Yeah. So now,
questing for 6. Bringing back an item. Playing that item and activating the dime for 7. And that is how you go from 3 to 20 in 1 turn.
That was a
Sapphire Steel.
massive play. Massive play. I remember playing that game and being like actually stuck at that point where there were 2 Ursulas. There was the beast on the Cove. I was just like, okay, so I have these tools. I have to do something about it. And it was not that easy because I think I had to backtrack, what, twice?
We had to cut, I think, about 5 minutes here from the...
from footage.
From footage, yeah. Because it was a hard one to figure out. And yeah, like these are the kinds of games that give you a headache.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of thing where in tournament you really have to just hold the game and just like take a deep breath and find what you have to do, because here you saw that it was quite let's say unintuitive, where you had to bring the Zeus on the Ursula, activating the aerial on the beast.
On the second Ursula, anyways, but yeah,
and on the second Ursula, you had a lot of things to do. Oh yeah, you had to smash the aerial into the beast and have something and pitch the damage on the second Ursula. It was a huge board state. This is why I love this game. Also, like, so I've heard a lot of people saying that it's quite simpler than other TCGs, and I'm just like, play some control games of this meta, either blue red or blue steel. You'll see it's not that simple,
not that easy.
So we'll see from now in the future sets if control is as viable as now, but it's in a quite nice spot, I would say.
It has the tools, that's for sure.
Mm.